Is Bitcoin pulling back because of the Tether controversy, or is it just simple technicals? We're going to take a look at that in this video, and a delay on the Golden Cross. What's up, guys? If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that button and hit that other button. So I'm not a professional trader. To be honest, I think most people on YouTube probably aren't. Technical analysis on YouTube, I think, is definitely more for entertainment. With that being said, I think a lot of people on YouTube are getting better at it, and also I think kind of growing with the audience, like everyone's kind of learning together. At least in this case, it seems like what's happening right now was super obvious. And that doesn't mean all technical analysis is going to be super easy and obvious from now on. But, you know, I think I started posting kind of regularly again about 2 weeks ago, and I've been saying I think there should be a pullback. Right now, we're kind of in the middle of it. I still think we're going to keep pulling back for right now. Yesterday, I posted a video, and like an hour and a half after I did, we had like a huge pullback. And I wasn't expecting it that soon, but I definitely was expecting a pullback. In fact, in the video, you can see the chart behind me. It's like 5,500. And somebody commented, "Come on, post this an hour after the dump." So I'm actually lying. I edited the chart to 5,500. The reason I say it's simple, though, is because it really, so far, is kind of just following what kind of makes sense in terms of indicators. First off, on the weekly, what I think is a good indicator is the stochastic here. And I've been saying that I think, we're at the very tippy top here, like 99, 100. And we don't usually trade there for super long. The longest I went back to like November of 2016. So quite a bit ago, and you see clearly a momentum shift here. Doesn't mean we're going to pull all the way back down to like oversold, from overbought into oversold, but I do think we're going to continue to, come down at least a little bit. And this is on the weekly, so I think this is really just getting started in terms of a possible pullback. With that being said, for me, if you've been watching my videos, I'm super excited because I want to get as much Bitcoin and other altcoins definitely as cheap as I possibly can. Because, I'm here long term. I don't really day trade at all, but I'm looking for nice trades in the long term. Maybe even a few monthly trades, like every month or every few months is kind of my approach to it. But for the most part, I definitely want to hold a lot of it because I do really expect a huge bull run in the future. And I would hate to miss out in any way on that. But in the meantime, I do think, some monthly like swing trades or something like that is smart and just fun to do as well. But you see that on the weekly, the stochastic pulling back. And you see here the clear resistance of the 50-week moving average right here. I actually have a article talking about that as well. These are like super, super obvious and basic indicators, but it looks as though, the market is kind of still obeying them. And that's kind of why I said it seems to be kind of obvious at this point. And even though myself and like many other people just post videos saying like, hey, this will probably happen, so far they still are kind of happening. Now, again, with that being said, if you're going to ask like, oh, okay, well, if you knew this was happening, what do you think the next thing is? And honestly, I just think we're going to pull back more. And I think we should, and I think that's healthy. This is the weekly here. On the daily, at least on my chart, we didn't get that golden cross yet. If we zoom in here, this is the 50-day moving, or EMA, exponential moving average, and this is the 200. And you can see right here, the tips have not touched. I thought these tips were going to touch fairly soon, but with the momentum of the market, they're still probably going to touch, but until they touch, we can't say that they have. So we need that golden cross, at least from what I'm seeing still. But what I think is good is we're seeing a retracement because we were super extended from the 50 moving average, which I think is important to get back to, this blue line. And that's around 47. I do think we could even go a little lower than that in the meantime because usually with pullbacks, you see wicks that extend pretty drastically sometimes. You see the wicks pull back to levels that don't stay there long. They find support slightly higher than the wicks usually. But I do think we could, I don't think we're going to go under 4,000. If we did, I would be ecstatic. If we did for a short amount of time, if we did for like a few months, I'd probably cry myself to sleep every single night. But yeah, no, this is on the daily for Bitcoin. So clearly a pullback here. Smaller time frames, you can get a look at what's going on. So I also want to talk about the Tether controversy a little bit in this video. So stay tuned for that. I don't necessarily, really quickly, I don't necessarily think this is really related to that. I think every time a move happens in the market, people try to pinpoint, this is the reason. When in actuality, it's simple technicals playing out. It's simple market cycles. And they're probably going to happen anyway. But I feel like every single time something does happen, people feel the need to attribute it to something that happened news-wise, and I don't think that's valid at all. I think many people actually agree with that. I think most people, I think Crypto Daily actually, I didn't watch the video, but it said something about Tether. The title was like, Tether didn't do this. I didn't watch it, so I don't know if he's joking, like usual, but probably. But also probably not, because I don't think anyone cares about Tether at this point. I think most people know about it and kind of the controversy going on with Tether. And I don't think it's going to affect the market that much. I could be wrong. We could always be wrong. But yeah, here on the daily, see we broke through the 50 moving average here pretty drastically and kind of hovering in the 4 hour. So we're looking for support there. On the 1 hour, same thing for Bitcoin. You see the momentum still shifting downwards on the 1 hour. Another reason I expect, I still think there are a lot of reasons why we have to pull back some more. But I think, once pullbacks usually get going, they usually continue. They don't go halfway and then never really complete themselves. And for example, really the drop from November until 2019 was just a continuous cycle pullback. And then we were in a technical pattern. And right now, I think we need a pullback because we just broke out of this ascending triangle right here. So I think the next step is to find support here and then really start forming some sort of a new pattern. I know many people are talking about channels, a channel that we're in right now on the daily and then smaller time frames like the 4 hour. This being the 4 hour, you can clearly see testing it for support here, testing it for support, broke through, but immediately bounced back up within a few hours. So that's, holding support there. But then this massive candle prevents that from happening in the short term because it's so big, unless we'd have another massive candle back up and find support here. But I don't think that's likely. I think we're most likely, we broke out of that pattern and we're probably going to enter some sort of a new pattern. And I think this is the beginning just of a short-term downtrend, necessary and healthy for the market though as well. So that's Bitcoin. Everything really does follow Bitcoin. Clearly, you take a look at the coin market cap and you see right across the board, as always, Bitcoin dominance actually still increasing, which is, I think, a good sign because when we do have pullbacks, Bitcoin dominance tends to increase. And also, it's just the leader of the market. And as usual, we see Bitcoin down pretty much the least of a lot of these top coins. Ethereum's down more, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and XRP are not down quite as much as well as EOS, but everything else is over 6 to 8% down. Bitcoin's right around 5% down. So I want to look at this article really quickly. And this is by Sebastian Sinclair on CoinDesk. It talks about how crypto markets are reacting to the Tether Bitfinex allegations. So the New York Attorney General's office alleged in a statement on Thursday Bitfinex lost $850 million and used customer and corporate funds from the affiliated stablecoin operator Tether in a cover-up. This is something that's really been talked about for a long time. It's not really new news. It's not really breaking news or anything. I really do think, it continues on here. I'm not going to really read the article in this video. One interesting thing I think worth pointing out, according to this here, Whale Alert, a Twitter service that monitors blockchain transactions, notified hours after the news 4,000 Bitcoin worth $20 million got moved out of Bitfinex's exchange wallets to unknown addresses. Possibly, I think that the market would probably drop somewhat, with this news regardless. But I think this was kind of inevitable anyway, just the pullback that we're having. And it looks totally natural based on what we see in the market. This is not something shocking to me at all. In fact, if it pulled back to, maybe 4,000, the mid 4,000s, I think that would be super drastic. And that would be something to be like, wow, this is horrible. But the pullback has been holding support around 5,000 as of right now. Now, by the time I upload this video, maybe by tomorrow or the next day, it's possible we break 5,000. And that's what I'm expecting in the short term, because I do think we have some room to move down, and I think that's a good thing. I'm going to be buying for sure if we get some cheap prices, but that's another story. And then look at this article really quick. This is by Omkar. 2015 Bitcoin price resistance reemerges amid Bitfinex controversy. So here's the daily chart, 50-week moving averages rejected. This is actually the weekly chart here. I don't know why it says daily chart. But you can see it's getting rejected here, and this is showing the 2015 bear market. Something very similar here. But what do you see after this? You see this nice swoop up. So again, I really do think that in the mid to long term, we're really entering a super bullish market, which is really exciting and everything. But I think naturally we still have to have a continued pullback right now. Maybe the last chance to get in really cheap. Who knows? It's possible, because once we break 6,000, in my strong opinion, I don't think we're going to be down this low in a very long time. I think we'll say buy to $100 Litecoin. I think we'll say buy to $1 XRP, even though I'm not an XRP fan necessarily. I do hold XRP. but XRP is like around 30 cents. You know, once the bull market starts, definitely I think XRP is going over $1. I think Litecoin's obviously going over 100 easily. Bitcoin going over 6,000, and the bull market in general, we see, you know, hopefully Bitcoin go over 20. We see Litecoin go over 500 and continued and everything like that. So guys, with that being said, thanks for watching the video. If you're new, make sure to hit that button, hit that other button, and I'll see you in the next video.